したいと読み直している読み直しているだけが読み直している読み直している読み直している読み直している読み直しているエキスしたいと読み直している読み直しているだけが読み直しているしたいと読み直している読み直しているだけが読み直している読み直している読み直している読み直している読み直しているエキスしたいと読み直している読み直しているだけが読み直している読み直しているyou
city of the unwritten. A city that's given so much. A city of people who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. A city of makers, entrepreneurs, musicians, artists. A city of laughter, memories, and people who will welcome others in with a cup of heartwarming handmade coffee. A city of people, young and old, working together. People who explore, live, and grow together. But what makes this place special? Being listed year after year as one of the best places to raise a family. Maybe because we have a community recognized for its safe neighborhoods and revered for its low unemployment. A city where adventure is everywhere you look, where you can pioneer your own story. We've opened a new page to write on for the generations ahead. Welcome to Bismarck. Come write your story.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And we are going full house lights. Maybe pull some of those house lights down. It's tasty bright out there. My name's Kate. I'm going to be your MC today. And we're going to talk about some garbage. We're going to talk about garbage today, which is great. First of all, I want to thank all of our sponsors. They help us with the theater, with the coffee, with all this fun stuff so that we can put this on each week. If you see them, please do give them a shout. Coffee Man, there he is, right there. Cappuccino on Collins. Coffee Man. Today is National North Dakota Day, and I heard that you're supposed to celebrate by making a casserole, or what we call hot dish, or waving at somebody in a gravel road, giving the old two-finger flippy flip. However you celebrate, please celebrate National North Dakota Day. What is 1 Million Cups? This is a weekly event. We're here every week. We bring an entrepreneur, community builder, maybe a community organization or initiative up on stage. They do kind of a quick, here's what we do, and then we pepper them with questions and suggestions. So really, how can we change the face of our community by being engaged, being here every week, and giving a platform to those folks in our community? We are going to have Q&A at the end of the presentation, the big orange microphone, and I think John drew the short straw and will be the mic runner. He's back there, so just throw your hand up if you have a question for the presenters on stage. And we're going to do some community announcements, and you do not have to have a slide to come up for community announcements. I know we've got a few folks. Yep, come on up. Okay, I don't know if we have a slide for you. Let's look. Okay, you saw nothing, everyone.
Good morning. I'm Andrea with Great Plains IABC. We are hosting a conference on May 11th with some familiar faces you might recognize. So we're a communications group by profession, but of course that applies to anyone and everyone's job and industry. Marl Anderson will be there sharing his secrets about social media marketing. And our keynote speaker is John Meyer, who is the co-founder of Lemonly in Sioux Falls. We've got a couple other great speakers as well. For 1 Million Cup attendees, we're offering 15% off. The promo code is 1MC. So if you go find our website, it's greatplainsiabc.com. We would love to have you there. Thank you.
International Association of Business Communicators? Okay, IABC. We've got some other community announcements. Bismarck Parkinson Support Group. Is there someone who's doing this announcement? No, that will be me then. Check it out, race entry. I wonder if there's an E missing. .com. The Parkinson race is going to be April 29th, so coming up at Sertoma Park. And then all proceeds go to supporting folks with Parkinson's. Okay, North Dakota Women's Business Center. I know Lakin is gone. Okay, you guys are really, I haven't emceed in a long time. You're really pushing it with me doing these announcements. So Lakin's talked about this quite a bit at 1 Million Cups. They've got their Women's Business Summit's going to be out at Medora this year. So 2 days in May. Check it out, North Dakota Women's Business Center. ndwbc.com. You can scan the QR codes too and see what's going on there, as well as register. Okay, 1 million cups. So we've got, Anne was asking about this. Hey, we need a time in April before May 6th to get these folks up on stage. So we kind of moved some stuff around, which is awesome to get folks here. Jim, and I think Carrie's going to be a part of maybe some Q&A as well and presentation. No? Full on, Carrie. Well, come on up here. We need your picture up there. So keep Bismarck beautiful and then keep Mandan beautiful is basically getting out, springtime and dealing with garbage. And when it's windy out and there's gravel, you get a chemical peel at the same time. So check it out. They're going to tell us all about keeping the community beautiful. So Jim, Carrie, come on up here. Give it up for them.
This is dangerous. There. Oh, you? She said you'd have the clicker. Excellent. Good morning, everybody. As she said, I'm James Harrington. I am currently the president of the Bismarck Rotary Club. We are one of the sponsors of Keep Bismarck Beautiful. And
I'm Carrie Schmidt. I'm the communication specialist for the city of Mandan. Our community beautification committee helps organize the cleanup day in Mandan.
so what is the Keep Bismarck Mandan Beautiful initiative? We both have had volunteers clean up over the last 9 years, literally tons and tons of garbage. Both cases, it's been a focused day with just a few hours of people and groups going out and cleaning up garbage. And I will ask number 2.
And ultimately, the goal is for us to be able to get residents to gather together without having to pick up litter. How awesome would that be?
Excellent. Yeah, as we say, as our service club project, we hope that this service club project doesn't exist in a few years.
Yeah.
As I said, the event coordinators is on the Bismarck side. This was started by Mayor Seminary's wife, Deborah, a few years ago, and Amy Schmidt. And both of them got together. They've been doing it. Then they asked for Bismarck Rotary to help in and take it on in the lead in coordinating everything. And at that time, we jumped in head first, not knowing exactly what we were getting into, but have had a great time since. And the city of Mandan has the city of Mandan behind it. I actually plugged with the mayor of Bismarck last week that the city of Bismarck should get involved as well, because it'd make it a lot easier.
Then there's a lot of cool facts up here just about litter and the statistics around what you see in our ditches. But one of the cool things that stands out to me is through the 10 years that this event has been around, we've been able to increase littering fines throughout the community, as well as put up signage that would distract people from doing it. It's a $500 fine if you're caught, and so that is a lot of money to distract you from throwing something out your vehicle.
Some of the interesting things about litter that most people don't realize is the finder that everybody gets and gets stuck out in your boulevard. And if you don't pick that up, it'll degrade in about 4 to 6 weeks, while a disposable diaper takes 10 to 20 years. The one that I found most interesting was a glass bottle, which takes 1 million years to actually decompose back down, which from the software engineering side makes sense why we use silicon and everything.
And these are your more common items that you're going to find picking up in ditches along the roadway. But unfortunately, there is kind of a disturbing side to the things that you find while you're picking up routes. We do have construction debris, which we try and keep to a minimum, but sometimes that happens. Car parts, tires. Madison and I saw a tire in a ditch on our way here this morning. Animal carcasses. And then even needles, unfortunately. But we do encourage our volunteers to not pick up needles and obviously not to pick up things that they're not comfortable with. Over in Mandan, our public works crews will help us go and pick up those items that people aren't comfortable with.
The one that drives me crazy on this one is that along highways, you'll see this. People will take the time to have a little bag in their car to throw garbage in,
Yep.
and then they will tie the bag up and toss it out the window rather than waiting till the next time they fill up. The good news is, those that we have seen roughly a 54% decrease in the amount of litter around the area. What this translates to primarily is, just like if you walk into a clean house, you are more likely not to just walk in and throw something on the table or throw something and make it dirty again. You're more likely to keep it up. Just like if you walk into a clean city, you're much more likely to, say you have a chewing gum wrapper, you're going to look around and not see garbage on the floor. You're going to find the garbage to put it in. Disney figured this out a long time ago. And if you walk around the Magic Kingdom, it's immaculate most days. Most days people say you could eat off their streets and it's cleaner than your kitchen table. But part of the reason why is that cast members are taught from their very start to always be picking up garbage, because if people see someone picking up something, they're more likely to. And if they keep the place clean, people are more likely not to want to make it dirty.
And then, as I said, this is our 10th anniversary for Cleanup Day. That's a pretty awesome feat. In Mandan, we were really excited because our 10th anniversary event was going to be on Earth Day this year, and we thought that was really neat. But unfortunately, we had to move some things around. In both cities, we have anywhere from 100 to 200, sometimes more volunteers a year. So we're up to over 1,000 volunteers throughout the 10 years. It takes anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to pick up routes, depending on how many people are on that route and how much garbage is in the ditches on those routes. And then it is just a great activity to get your family and friends out after winter. I know we're all just dying to be outside right now, and get in the fresh air and get some exercise.
So it does pay off. So you can see here was before, where you see everything in the ditch, and after. But we've had people find some pretty good finds while they're out there as well. I know my wife was the beneficiary of a $20 bill of one of the finds, which she quickly went back and then donated it to something right away, which I was very sad because I was hoping to use it as beer money. But
The funny thing on that was I actually got the phone call from this group, and they're like, "We found a $100 bill. What do we do with it?" And I'm like, "Keep it." It's a reward. But so the organizers take care of getting the garbage bags, the pickers, and all the supplies that you need to actually pick up garbage on your route. The one thing that we ask for volunteers to do is come dressed appropriately. So long pants, boots, especially when it's going to be muddy out. Gloves are great. Sometimes we have provided gloves, but the gloves that we provide are nothing compared to like garden gloves or something like that. That's going to give you a little bit more protection. And then we have great sponsors who donate things like donuts from Bear Scat for our volunteers, and that's always a big thing. This year, since we're not doing one event in Mandan, we're doing it over the month of May. Bear Scat has given us free donut tokens to give to our volunteers, so it's a little bit of an enticement for them to come.
And ours is on May 6th, and when you show up, you'll have Bear Scat again will bring donuts to us, and we'll have T-shirts, and then also door prizes. Yes. So everybody who registers online, you show up, check in, you get registered for door prizes, including the zoo, Parks and Rec, and if I can't remember, a few other, Bear Scat and a few other places in town. So this is our QR codes, which will be up later as well. So this is just basically, if you click on either of those, it'll take you straight to the registration site, or you can reach out to Carrie directly.
Yeah, and so I'm just asking, you can sign up online, and then I'll follow up with whoever signs up online in Mandan just to make sure that they're comfortable with the number of people that they registered doing the route, or if they want more people to join, I'll help arrange that. And then there are a few other ways that you can help throughout your community. Bismarck has Adopt a Roadway. In Mandan, we have Adopt a Street. And then the state actually has Adopt a Highway as well. Those are great ways for organizations to claim routes and say, we're taking responsibility of this route throughout the year and cleaning it up. And then the easiest way is when you're out on walks in your residential area or wherever it may be, take a bag with you and pick up. And like Jim said earlier, sometimes all it takes is one person seeing you doing that, and then they're going to do it. And then before you know it, the area is picked up.
Keep America Beautiful has put out a challenge. It's a hashtag 150 to you and you. Why the number 152, you may ask? Apparently they did a study, and if each American this year or today picked up 152 pieces of litter, America would be litter-free until someone drops something down again. So just a neat little fact there.
And Amy Schmidt does a great job of keeping Keep Mandan Beautiful and Keep Bismarck Beautiful updated on Facebook. This is a great way to get all the information.
And just thank you for coming out today. We hope to see you all there. And as promised, the QR codes are back up on the screen.
All right, give it up. Let's talk garbage. I also want to know where the money was found.
Pass
That's
this.
where I will be volunteering.
So I don't take it with me.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, Ross? I don't know if the mic is on in there, Ross. So dig your hand in that coffee cup and turn that mic on. If you have a question for Carrie or for Jim, throw your hand up in the air. I have a question, at least Jim, the one I'm more familiar with in Bismarck, but you show up at Peace Park, kind of what's the process? So you have to go somewhere, I would assume. You're kind of assigned a location.
Okay, so there's two real main ways to do it. Is you show up at Peace Park, which is just same area as the North Dakota, or Bismarck Parks and Rec in downtown there. If you show up with your people, we examine your party. If you have a lot of little kids, they will look and take you to a more family-friendly area where you are less likely to encounter needles or anything like that. If you show up with a group of adults or whatnot, then they will assign you to a different area. Or if you have your own area in mind, you can show up there, register, and say, hey, the end of our street is horrible. We're going to take a group of people and go back and do that. And I guess the other way is that a few organizations have contacted us in the past, like Scouts or church groups, and they say, we always go and clean up this zone, and we just say, okay, usually we just get a list of people doing it, and then we re-register them for them, or just ask them if they want to register online.
So you can have your own spot kind of picked out and do that.
So like if you want to keep your own neighborhood clean, by all means, you can say, we're cleaning up our neighborhood. So.
Awesome. Questions? Madison.
Yeah, this is for both you guys. What marketing tactics do you use to entice people to come pick up, carcasses and $100 bills and stuff like that?
A $100 bills thing is a great enticement. You guys probably planted that, right? And then you're like, you could come find a $100 bill.
Well, it unfortunately probably flew out of somebody's car. Or one time I actually lost $50 out of my jacket pocket, and that was hard. But
That sounds like a great story we'll talk about later.
But as far as marketing, we used to actually pay for posters to be created and then distribute them through the help with the Mandan Progress Organization to the different businesses around Mandan. We used to pay to boost posts on Facebook. This event, though, people look forward to it every year. And so in the last 3 years, maybe 4, we've actually not put any dollars behind pushing the event.
And for us, we use social media, and Mid-Continent Communications has volunteered many hours, close to $18,000 worth for the TV ads. And then through their connections, they asked the radio stations this year also to plug events for us, which has been very kind of them.
And just on the Mandan side, so you guys are doing the kind of the one day, the big event. You said you're going through May. What does that look like for groups that want to participate? I mean, they contact you. Can they pick a spot? Do you have a spot for them?
Yeah, so we used to, when we would have people gather in Dykeshorn Park before the event, they would just look at maps and pick routes, and it kind of was chaotic because people didn't always know where that route was. And so a couple years ago, I had the thought of us actually coming out with our route maps, numbering them, and then people would look at those maps that tells them where the meetup location is and what the route entails. And then so they can pick a route, and that'll probably stick around when we go back to the way we used to do it. But now you can look at the routes online, pick the route that you want. We actually have 17 routes, and we're down to only 3 that haven't been claimed. And then your group just basically tells me when you want to pick up litter on that route, and then I make note of that, and I get the supplies together and get them out, get it in touch with our public works grounds maintenance crews, and they go around and pick up those bags afterwards.
Question back here.
This is for Carrie or Jim. How do you decide, these cities are getting bigger and bigger. How do you guys decide what routes to do and figure out who or how big they should be?
We rely heavily on Public Works Department to tell us where they see that they need the most help, because if it wasn't for volunteers picking up in some of these areas, it would be on city staff to pick up those areas so that they can get in and mow, or the state would have to get in and mow those areas too. But yeah, we rely on them to determine it. Our routes, we like to keep them to where, like, if we only had a group of 10 to 20 people, they could pick them up. So that's how we determine size. And we do reevaluate our routes every year.
Jim, what do you like? This place is just garbage every year.
Yeah.
More people.
For us, for the first few years, it was Molly and I driving around and just driving and looking for areas of garbage, high areas of garbage. In the past couple of years, we've had National Honor Society students that still need hours, and Rotary is a qualified hours place they can go. So we've asked them to drive around, and then they love it because they just get to listen to music in their car, drive around, and find garbage areas in town. They tell us where they are, then we just mark them on a map and go from there.
Question right there.
What is the most common piece of garbage, genre of garbage, that you guys find when you're out doing these?
Let me go first. Bottles of alcohol. Normally the little shot bottles. We worked a route last year that this route is known for, you count the number of bottles that you find, because it's just interesting to learn.
And
Jim, we've been meaning to talk to you about that. You've got to just throw them in the garbage, okay? Recycle.
unfortunately, ours is about the same. Fireball is the
Yes.
actual most preferred little
Yep.
shot bottle to toss out.
You said animal carcasses. We do 2 cleanup days in downtown Bismarck with our group, and there are some poor squirrels that we have found that have just been flattened and thrown in something, and you pick them up and then their tails fall off. So if you're horrified by that, try and find is there a carcass-free area that you think?
I don't think so.
Okay. You're going to find carcasses everywhere?
Yeah, I found a vole on the sidewalk the other day, a dead one.
The squirrels are everywhere.
I know, yeah. Be careful when you're driving. You said you've got sponsors and other businesses that provide like garbage bags and stuff. Have you been able to find sponsors? Has it been, people come on board? Has it been kind of a struggle, or people generally, businesses kind of behind you to help, with supplies and providing, prizes and things like that?
I think the event's been around for so long that those that we have depended on throughout the years tend to continue to support the event. We do have a partnership with Keep North Dakota Clean, and they've helped provide supplies in the past. We actually haven't had to ask for garbage bags in, I think, probably 3 years because we have so many that have been donated. But I think we have a good people behind us sponsoring the event.
Yeah, definitely. It's the same thing. We use the same Keep North Dakota Clean, and then I was surprised just how generous the business was.
Yeah.
You call up and ask, hey, would you donate a door prize? Sure.
Yep.
I feel like some good sponsorships would be the people whose garbage you find, so Fireball, Marlboro. I mean, throw some cash here. We're helping you out, picking up all your garbage. Angel.
Yes, question. So do you also focus on like the interstate, like who covers the interstate? Because I've noticed, especially once the snow melts, you see tons and tons of trash along Interstate 94. Is that something that you guys cover, or does a different group handle that?
In Mandan, we do have routes along the interstate. We coordinate with DOT because we want them to know that we are having people out there picking up in their right-of-way or their ditches. But yeah, we want our routes center around people coming in or out of our community, and so the interstate is definitely an area that we pick up.
And in the past, we've tended to stay away just for safety reasons.
Yeah.
So,
And carcasses, maybe.
yeah.
I feel like you're going to find bigger carcasses along the
Larger ones,
interstate
yeah.
than on a general road.
My second question is, do you reach out to groups to find volunteers? Like 4-H would be a really good one, where there's a lot of kids that would be willing to usually all 4-H clubs have a volunteer project that they try and, participate in. So is that an organization that they should reach out to you, or you would reach out to them?
So we reach out to them mainly because over the years we've collected their email addresses. And so now I believe Male sends out to every Boy Scout troop and pack, the diocese and all the priests, any of the other churches and all their youth groups and Girl Scouts and everything, and just groups and 4-H. We have a good partnership with them through Rotary anyways. And so we get all the groups, and then high schools and schools.
What about like juvenile courts and things like that? Are there folks that need hours that could reach out, or are you in touch with the juvenile court system at all?
We have had volunteers through that system in the past. I haven't seen any of them come through this year, but yeah.
Because all the kids are getting better, right? They're just they're not breaking any laws, right, Ross?
100%.
Okay.
I've been good for a while.
Okay, good. Yeah, you remember the system. Yeah, you're right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ross.
Is there certain areas of either city that you have a difficult time getting people to sign up for or volunteer for that maybe we could help get you some volunteers for?
Not certain areas. It's just for us. Bismarck has been traditionally, like right now, we have 40 volunteers signed up. Last year we had over 100 participants. So it's always that last week or 2 weeks, or people just showing up that day because they saw the post or they served it and they just show up and go from there. The biggest help is in getting businesses. So if we have businesses that say, hey, we're forming a team, we're the KLJ team, we're the KFYR team, we're the whatever team we want, that actually would be the biggest help, is getting businesses to help sign up and just pick a place and go, even clean up around their business. They can use it as a self-serving team, because any business that has a large parking lot, I guarantee there's trash.
We do have one route that I can think of. I actually had somebody contact me about it, and I talked him out of taking it. It looks on the map like it's a small area, and it is, but it's around the interstate, and it's like hilly and everything, and it was just a group of 4, and I think it was like him, his wife, and his kids, and so I was like, let's save that for a group of like engineers or something like that would like that.
Mountain climbers.
Yeah.
So you get all the garbage, I assume you then coordinate with like Public Works or the landfill or something, that they then come pick up all these bags of garbage? And how does that kind of coordination occur?
It's just with Public Works. They know to look for
Leave
these
it out.
giant orange bags of garbage. And so people just go up there, they tie them off, they leave them in a space that are visible, that are easily to see from the roadway. And I think Public Works starts, at least for us, we end around noon. I think they start that afternoon, start picking them up.
And then typically for us, we team up with Armstrong Sanitation, and they would go out that Saturday afternoon and pick up. But with the change that we've made this year, we are relying on our grounds maintenance staff to go and pick up the garbage throughout the route. So I feed them the dates of when people are picking up, and then they will go. If it's during the week, they'll typically go and get it that same day. If it's on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday, they're going to go out the following Monday. But I will say that us as staff work really good, and if we see those big orange bags on the side of the road on our way somewhere, we'll pick them up too.
Yeah, Jim.
Carrie and Jim, could you give a quick rundown of suggestions, do's and don'ts, like do please tie your garbage bags closed so that you just don't set them on the side of the road? And is there a top 10 list of, if you are picking up, here's what we would like you to do, and please do this, don't do that?
Definitely tie the garbage bags so that we don't have that bag being emptied into the ditch from the wind. And then one other really important thing is to get it as close to the roadway so that it's visible but not in the way of cars. Stay away from busy, if you're working a route along the interstate, give some grace. Like, you don't have to go and get that piece of garbage that's right up on the asphalt.
Yeah, we don't want any games of Frogger.
Yeah.
So, the biggest don't is don't grab needles.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. Everyone thinks you'll be able to go down there and just carefully get it. You won't. You'll stick yourself. And the other biggest the biggest do I always say too is that if you have back problems or something, don't pick this day to think you're going to go out and bend over. We have pokers or sticks or grabbers available right there to take when you go, just we ask you bring them back. So.
So you kind of just alluded to this already, but if there is a group that is comfortable maybe picking up like sharps and needles and things, do you guys have sharp containers that are along the routes at all for those types of things, or is it just strictly the garbage bags?
Just the bags for us. Yeah.
Yeah, don't pick them up. Make note of where they're at, and we'll send people out to get them.
I have a question about garbage versus recycling. I assume that, do you, like, you got a whole bunch of glass bottles that could be recycled. Do you separate them, or you just, like, throw all the garbage in the thing and not worry about recycling?
Yeah, we haven't tackled that yet.
I assume that would be tough, because people can't even do that in their own house. What if they're putting in
Right.
the recycling thing versus a garbage can? Like, well, that's probably recyclable. No, it's not. Go ahead, sir.
Carrie, Jim, since this has been going on for all these years, can you tell the difference in our community, how much it has improved and where?
Yeah, I would say, so we used to count bags, how many bags were picked up. We don't do that anymore because one year our bags actually got smaller than what they were, and so that wasn't a true representation of how much garbage was picked up. But I would say we've definitely noticed less litter some years, and I would say it's gotten better since the year that it started, but it's still an issue.
Yeah, there has been like a small decrease in numbers of bags. We do the same thing, but enough to at least say, well, it is getting a positive change.
Yeah.
So.
There's, when we go to other cities and conferences and stuff, or people come here from other places, almost invariably the thing that they say, especially if they come from a larger place, is this community is so clean. It's just such a clean community, and I think it's like a weird thing when someone said, like, from Chicago, like, so clean here, so clean. But you must be doing a good job, because people constantly say how clean the community is, so good on you. Question. I think a lot of the garbage, this is my own observation, comes from wind and the garbage day that you put it out, and you're like, well, I hope my garbage thing doesn't tip over and blow all the garbage down the street forever. Are there any, I assume, like, bag it if it's in the garbage can, but that's what I'm always, or recycling, the same thing. Your recycling container tips over and whoosh, off with the wind.
So in my day job, I work on the city's social media and website and all that stuff. And we always tell people, for your garbage cans, bag it, tie it, and make sure that the lid is down. Don't ever leave it open. If it's a windy day and you can not put your garbage out, don't. If you can wait until the next week for it to be collected, that's probably best. And same with those recycling containers. If it's windy, maybe hold on to it until you can recycle on a not windy day. Hopefully it's not too many weeks.
Or know what time about they're coming around your
Yeah.
neighborhood. You put it out the night before and it's gonna be a super windy night, like maybe put out in the morning or something.
Wind also up near Legacy where all the construction's going on. So Dan Schreck from our club, he subs up at Legacy, so he gets a huge crew of kids to go out and they clean up around Legacy, because on the fences, the wind just blows as it compresses things in there. And so anywhere where you have the construction materials or where it's really growing, the cities are growing, that's where we find also a lot of, those guys work to put it in a garbage bin, but of course the wind comes and removes it from the garbage bin.
I know the city of Bismarck, and I assume maybe the city of Mandan, but now if you go to the landfill and you have like a load of stuff that is unsecured in like the back of your truck, you can be fined, because you're like, oh, I'm driving a landfill and stuff's flying out, all the way there. Is that something that you guys do in Mandan, and has it helped maybe cut down on crazy people's trucks full of garbage that's flying out everywhere?
Yep, so we do have a fine for untarped loads going to the landfill. I don't know what that fine is, but it has helped.
Good. My car looks the same way. It's just coffee cups flying out and garbage everywhere. Go ahead.
Is there like a tip sheet on how to organize a neighborhood day? Because if your neighborhood's not on a typical route.
If you have an HOA, I would definitely work with them. If not, I would just maybe start with a couple of neighbors around you and say, hey, let's get together and pick up around our area. And then maybe they know more people than what you know in that area, and it'll spread that way. But a lot of times, I mean, if you can only get 3 families to go out and do it, but other people see you doing it, they're going to want to join with you, or they might ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Madison.
So I know it's also going to be spring cleanup week, and I'm sure Carrie kind of knows more about this too, but just for the audience, what can and what can they not put on the side of their street for the
Spring cleanup week. That's
Yeah.
when I find a lot of cool
treasure?
stuff.
Yeah, and so I will note that it is a little different between Bismarck and Mandan as far as what you can and can't put out. But typically in Mandan, anything that 2 people could pick up and put in the back of the whatever they're picking up with can be put out there. If you're putting refrigerators and other appliances like that, please make sure you clean those out first. Like, take everything out of the refrigerator, put it in a bag, put that bag next to it, and it'll all get picked up.
People leave stuff in the refrigerators. That's disgusting.
You'd be surprised what our crews find on cleanup week.
That's grotesque. I know in Bismarck also, like hazardous materials or, you know, things like, I don't know, propane tanks and stuff like that. I mean, be careful about trying not to blow up the public works people.
When they have a separate day for that, for hazardous materials and batteries and all that good stuff.
And like paint cans and stuff, you're supposed to leave the paint can out, let it dry out, and then empty it out, and then, you know, you can recycle the actual can itself. But yes, please don't put bombs out or stinky bombs in like refrigerators. That has got to be, there's nothing worse than when your refrigerator goes out and all your food goes bad. Don't do that to the public works people.
And I know
Ross.
Bismarck has a page with all their cleanup week information on it, and then we do too. It's cityofandan.com/cleanup, and it's got all the things that you can and can't put out. And if you have a question, call the landfill or Public Works, and they'll get the answer for you.
You dirty people. Ross, what about when your girls misbehave, which never happens? You get them out there and clean up the roads,
The whole yard.
the whole yard. Get
And
up.
then down the block.
Yeah, get going. And the needles. Take the needles.
Maybe one thing on cleanup week, because both Bismarck and Mandan have postponed theirs until May 15th through the 20th.
Yep.
And we still see people putting stuff out on their boulevards this week. So just a suggestion would be, if you see your neighbor putting stuff on their boulevard, it's going to be out there for a month. So please.
Unless
let
it's
them-
good stuff and you want it.
Treasures everywhere.
Nobody wants a mattress that's been rained on for a month, which is usually kind of what it ends up being.
Don't say anybody.
Ross.
Can I do a joke real quick?
You can do as many jokes as you want. I'm dying up here, so go nuts.
I got challenged with doing a joke, and so I did look one up. But how rich are garbage people? Filthy.
Grown. Solid dad joke. Solid
Yeah.
dad joke. Anybody have any other questions for these fantastic people about garbage, carcasses, money that you find, needles, fireball? They'll answer all of those questions. How many fireball? Do you guys count how many fireball shooters that you find? No, it's just infinite, basically.
But you definitely find where like probably underage drinking occurs in the area. 'Cause you'll see little piles.
Why? I assume fireball then is probably the cheapest shooter, and that's why we're finding it. Or if we just increase the price of a fireball shooter, we could
But
maybe.
you can buy those packs of like 6 to 12 too. And
This is that $50 that flew out of your thing story.
They
12
need to stop
fireball shooters.
making alcohol shooters taste like candy. That's probably.
That's part of it, I'm sure. Yes. Okay. Any other questions for our folks here? Keep Bismarck and keep Mandan beautiful. If you guys want to just quickly go over again how people can get involved, how they can find you. I mean, obviously we've got stuff up here, but they're a little bit different. So if you could just delineate again for the audience here and how they can get involved.
Sure. Keep Bismarck beautiful. That QR code will take you straight there. Or you can contact bismarckrotary@gmail.com, or just look it up on Facebook.
the same thing, scan the QR code up on the screen, or you can go to cityofandan.com/litter cleanup day and submit your information, and then I'll be in touch with you.
And Jim, you guys are both pulling double duty a little bit, but will you just quickly talk about what Rotary is and what they do, and why they've, taken this on?
Sure. Rotary is an international service club. Our club has been around for a little over 100 years in Bismarck. We have 103 members, meet on Wednesdays at noon. The primary goal of Rotary, they've been leading the charge in ridding the world of polio. And as everyone says, we are this close. There's only currently 2 countries in the world that still have active polio. And they're working hard to get people vaccinated in those countries for that. Probably, I think 6 years ago, Rotary took on its 7th area of focus, which is the environment. And it just coincided that that was the same year that we got asked to help with this. So around the community, our Rotary Club does various projects. On cleanup day, the club will concentrate on the Bismarck Arboretum, which we sponsor the Arboretum and helped plant that, which is located on the northwest corner of Tomilary Golf Course. It's a gorgeous area if you've never been there. I love going there to do cleanup because as a golfer, you always find stray golf balls. So then I can fill up my kids' bags with balls so that they don't waste mine. So.
I was gonna say, if you find a Callaway Chrome Soft with 3 dots on it, that's mine. I would take that back. Yeah, if no one's been to the Arboretum, it's gorgeous. And you can kind of see it from the street, but you really got to get in it and down into the Arboretum to really get an idea of the different types of species and stuff that you got in there. Carrie, pulling double duty for the city of Mandan. What do you guys got going on kind of in the near future that you'd like people to know about?
Cleanup day and cleanup week have been the things on top of mind. We are in the midst of a high school placemaking planning study, so trying to determine what the future looks like for the existing Mandan High School site before they move up north to their new site. We're excited about that opportunity, and we've got lots of public input opportunities through that study that we would really encourage people to come to and tell us what you want to see in Mandan at that site. That site's important because it's a connector between North Mandan and downtown.
And then you got some events like your early events in the year, Buggies and Blues. Is Touch a Truck early in the year?
Yep, Touch a Truck's coming up on May 20th. It's from 10 to 2. And it'll be a great event. Hopefully the weather is cooperative, but they'll fill up the streets there. And it's always a fun event, even if you don't have little ones, but you're interested in big trucks. It's really cool to come see and enjoy our new Dykeshorn Park and just the downtown atmosphere.
And if you find a fireball that says Class of 99 Ross on it, the Mandan site, you'll know. It's a little archaeological dig over there.
I've been better. I've been picking up my garbage since then.
Nice.
There's been a time.
Sorry, Joe's got one other thing. Joe, what do you got?
If it's making fun of me,
There
Yeah,
was
it
this
class
one
of
time
2001.
that
There's probably a apple pucker or something that was hot in 2001 that my name on it.
this one time Ross walked into a bar and hit his head.
No,
Nope,
Joe.
just sharing, you're talking about events that are coming up. We do have in Mandan a public input meeting for the Sunset Drive interchange. That's going to be on Thursday. So if anybody is interested or live in that area, that's one thing to keep in mind. It'll be with the DOT as well as their contractor, so the public can provide some ideas and input into that project. It's going to be at the middle school cafeteria from 6:30 to, I believe, 8 p.m. or 6 to 8 p.m. Excuse me. So
Awesome.
just wanted to share that.
Okay. Well, give it up for these guys doing awesome work in both communities here. Oh my God, I forgot the last question. God, it's like my first time up here. I mean, I think we've probably gone over it, but is there anything else you guys want to add that everybody else out here can do to help you guys succeed for your cleanup days?
I already
Got
said
it.
it, which is get your businesses involved and make a team.
Same?
Same.
Sweet. I want to hear about that $50 story.
Okay.
Carrie. And the Fireball 6-packs. We've got some stuff coming up here for next week. And then if you are interested in presenting too, I mean, the calendar's kind of filling up, but, towards the end of sort of summer and the fall, we've got open dates. So please consider applying if you're interested in being a part of 1 Million Cups. You can just go to the website there and click to apply. Okay, all right, everybody, find some garbage on your way home, pick it up. Hopefully it's money and not needles, and we'll see you guys here next week. Thanks so much.